Hi, today I'm on Birkrigg Common. That's just south of Ulverston on the Cumbrian coast. I've got Morecambe Bay over there, and there's the common. Lake District fells to the north of here. Now, if you've come to the Lake District regularly, you've probably never heard of Birkrigg Common, because it's like south and it's not exactly a massive hill, 136 metres at its highest point, but it has got one or two things that the average landscape enthusiast might enjoy. I'm going on a treasure hunt, a landscape treasure hunt, because hidden on this common there are all sorts of landscape features that are well, not unique, but to have so many in one place, that's fairly unique. So we're going to go in a clockwise route around the common and see what we can find. Now, I have to say, right, that I'm no good at archaeology, and then so I might walk past something that's vitally important, or on the other hand I might point the camera at something and tell you all about it and find that actually I'm pointing at the wrong thing. So you might have to bear with me a little bit. I'm not an expert archaeologist, but I think you can have a fun day out on here. As you can see, there's not a lot of people around, and then so let's get on and see what we can find. So what exactly am I looking for? Well, I'm going to start off with the burial place of one of the founder members of the Religious Society of Friends, better known as the Quakers. Then there's a Bronze Age disc barrow. We'll cover what that is a bit later on. 3 Bronze Age burial cairns and a Bronze Age settlement, or the remains of a Bronze Age settlement, and the piece de resistance, a Bronze Age stone circle. There, all of that in what, a couple of square miles, which is pretty good, I think. Somewhere to my left there's a wall into a series of enclosures, and I'm looking for an opening with a portal over the top as opposed to a gate. That's clearly not it. There's a gate to my left at the minute, but actually just over there that seems to be. There we are, a gate with a portal. Let's go and have a look. There we are, an identifying plaque on the wall. Note the lack of gravestones, or any other identifying feature to that matter. There is an excellent reason for that. Back in the 17th century, Quakers did not believe in marking their graves. The idea was very simple. Back then, gravestones reflected the wealth and position of the deceased. The monuments marking the graves of rich landowners were an extension of their status in life. Quakers believed in equality, both in life and in death, so early Quaker burial grounds were unadorned by markers indicating the status of the deceased. Yeah, the lady named on the plaque, Margaret Fox, she was one of the leading lights in the early Quaker movement, the Religious Society of Friends. She first met George Fox, who was the founder of the Quakers, in 1652, when he arrived unannounced at their home at Swarthmore Hall, which is, what, a couple of miles over there to the northwest. And what George Fox did in a scene that was reminiscent of a modern day soap opera. He arrived at the house and almost immediately fell out with the local vicar, who was also visiting, the Reverend Lampitt. Lampitt was really upset by the fact that George Fox had called him not only unnecessary but corrupt. And you might think that Margaret Fox might not think very highly of George Fox when he said this, but actually she sided with him. She ignored what Lampitt was saying, and she sided with George Fox. And indeed, when Judge Fell, the man she was married to, passed away, she married George Fox. And although they led fairly separate lives, because we were going around the country preaching, but she did a lot of the secretarial work for the Religious Society of Friends. In fact, Swarthmore Hall became its unofficial headquarters, and until George Fox's death in 1690.
All of which may make you wonder why it's only her and not the two of them that are buried here. The simple answer is that George Fox died suddenly in January 1690 while staying in London, and he's buried at Bunhill Fields, a Quaker burial place in Islington.
You know, when you come here, it just looks like a small field. Got trees in the corner and so on. But actually when you're here, it has a kind of air to it. Apart from the noises that are going on around us. I just sat for a while there just thinking about all sorts of things, and it kind of brings a clarity to your mind. It's got a I don't know what the word would be. It's just a nice, relaxing feeling where you can just think about things. And then you have to bear in mind, of course, there are over 200 people buried in this field. So you have to be careful just running around. It's I think you have to have respect for the fact that it is a burial ground. But as I say, to sit at the side here on those rocks and just think about the issues in the world, and there are many obviously at the moment, you get an air of peace kind of descends. It's rather a nice feeling actually. And then, having said that, I need to move on. Now I'm continuing along the road, but there's a footpath here, footpath sign. It leads to the top of the hill. I'm not actually going to take that. I'm continuing along the road. It's not terribly steep. You do have to be careful because cars do use this. In fact, I've been surprised at how many cars do use it. What I'm looking for is a disc barrow, an Iron Age disc barrow, which is on the left-hand side of the road in a field.
What I'm looking for is a circular raised platform surrounded by a banking. These were used as burial places for important people in the settlement. A sort of monument to the great and good.
Right, there's a field over to my left here. I'll take a shot in a minute to show you. The field is entirely flat, except for at that end it looks quite rough. So it looks to me as though something is unnatural, or something man-made's been put there. Could just be an outcrop of limestone, of course, as limestone. This is a limestone pavement. But I'll take a shot and then we can have a look. That is an oblong shaped enclosure. It's like an oblong banking, earth banking, a bit lower in the middle. It looks clearly man-made, there's that. Actually, the fact it's oblong has thrown me a bit, because I was thinking disc, and in my world discs are round. It's the ones I used to play on my old dance set. They were always round.
There you have it, a Bronze Age burial mound in a sheep field next door to a road. I wonder how many people drive past here every day and just don't take any notice of it, or don't know what it is. About as close as you can get to it, actually. The area is in a field, and the farmer has not only put a wall up, but there's a barbed wire fence, so they're saying keep out. We'll just leave it in peace and head for the top of the hill.
Well, that didn't take very long. Behind me you've got the trig point, and next to the trig point there's a little cairn, just over 3 feet high, with a stone on the top, made of turf and grass. That's actually a burial cairn, and it's the next little treasure. In fact, along this ridge, we're actually on a limestone ridge here, and along this ridge there are 2 other burial cairns, which we need to find. Now, this first one's been ever so easy to find, so I'm hoping that the other 2 are equally easy to find. First, I'm going to have a drink. There is just something about warm coffee on a cold day like this, isn't it? This is February, by the way. If you're watching this in July, on a beach somewhere in sunnier climes, it's not warm. There we are. On my left, modern trig point. On my right, 4,000-year-old burial cairn. It's amazing contrast in age and style and everything. And yet people will go for the trig point, they'll stand there and have a photograph taken by it and ignore the cairn. Of course, the other big question is, why did they bury them here? That's a burial cairn. It's holds 2-3 people probably on the top of the hill, away from the settlement. So were they special people? Is the fact that it overlooks the sea, is that anything to do with it? Were they people who were associated with the sea? We'll never know, of course. But they obviously took the time and trouble to carry the bodies up here, to build that, dig the pit, lay the bodies in, put in whatever grave effects there were, and top it off with stones. There was a ring around it of stones. It took a lot of trouble. Special people, I think.
Now to find the others.
There we are. I think I've found the second one. There's a party of school children actually just got up to the first one. I always find children are fascinated by this kind of thing. You know, their imaginations run amok, don't they? And they can, I think it's just what I was when I was a child. So this one's a bit lower and it's a bit wider as well. I'm not convinced I've absolutely got it. I'm not absolutely certain, but I think I might have done. I'm cutting it off. I'm going to cross it off my list anyway.
to move on and head across the common to see if we can find the settlement. Crossing this rather lovely limestone pavement, I think it's amazing.
Couple of unplanned occurrences on a day when we were promised blue sky and sunshine in the afternoon, and there is blue sky out there, but it's decided to rain, so that's why the hood's up. I've come across this. It's actually a pile of stones with two holes in the ground, and I mean it's not on my list, and I'm actually wondering whether it's modern to the point of maybe it's, I don't know. It doesn't look like the kind of stone that is littered all around these fills. So I'm a bit baffled by that, actually. It's the right size for the settlement that I'm looking for. Is roughly the size of two penalty areas on a football pitch. There's a bit of a banking around parts of it. That might be coincidence. There's two holes there, but you couldn't. I mean, I'm baffled. I don't know. So I'll have to leave that one to the other archaeologists, local archaeologists or amateur archaeologists that there are. I think it might have stopped. I think it was only a shower, because there is a bit of blue sky. There's less and less blue sky as we go on, but we're supposed to have a nice day. I'm going to write to the Met Office and complain, I think. What I'm doing here is I'm standing on what I think are the outer walls of the Bronze Age settlement. I'm going by the information I've got. The information I've got is that it's roughly the size of two penalty areas, two football penalty areas, but and it's got an outer wall. Inside there were 3 hut circles, and it stands on this hill, and I can't see anything else on this hill that looks remotely like what we're looking for. And I've wandered around for quite a bit, actually. I mean, it's a wonderful aspect. You've got the coast over there, all the way in Morecambe Bay. The tide's out today, but wonderful aspect. You can see the town of Ulverston over there. You can see the Hode Lighthouse up there, or the Hode Monument, a well-known landmark. Whereas this, 4,000 years old. If I've got the right thing. I'm not 100% certain that I'm in the right place. It seems to tick the boxes. I can just imagine there being 2 or 3 huts in here, people living here, and they're remarkable people. Remarkable people. You know, they lived and worked on it. They had no modern technology whatsoever. You stuck me on out here for a few nights, I mean, I'd be lost. I wouldn't know what to do. But they raised families. They fed themselves. Wonderful, wonderful. And they made use of everything that they had, everything that was around them. Remarkable people. We think they're primitive. I don't think so. I think inventive, very resourceful people. have a little roam around here and see what there is, and then we'll drop down the hill. We're not that far away. I can see in the far distance the stone circle, because despite the fact that I've struggled with the burial cairns, I've struggled to identify the settlement as it is. It's well, I think the fact that I've struggled, and I've been looking, I've looked at pictures online and I've looked at history online. The guys, the archaeologists, both the professional ones and also the amateur ones, really do deserve a big pat on the back. You know, I think that to identify these sites has been remarkable, and the thing is, having identified them, very often they've carried out excavations and found things that have proven that their identification is correct, which is, I think, remarkable. There we are, Birkrigg stone circle. It's not terribly big in circumference, and actually there's two stone circles. There's another one runs along an outer one. I'm not sure whether they're concentric, in other words, whether the centre of each circle is in the same place. They might have been supposed to be, but I might have failed to identify all the others properly and been a bit in doubt, but there's no doubt that this is the stone circle. The circle was excavated around about 100 years ago, just a little over 100 years ago, and beneath the surface of this middle circle were some cobblestones, in fact 2 layers of cobbles, and beneath them there was evidence of burials, and that. So this is, as with the burial cairns and the settlement up there with its associated barrow and the disc barrow over there and the cemetery there, everywhere you go people are laid to rest on this hill. It's a wonderful place to be laid to rest, I would suggest. You know, whenever archaeologists talk about stone circles and what they were used for, because that's always what comes to mind, is what was it used for? An archaeologist will tell you it's ceremonial. And I kind of think to myself, okay, what kind of ceremony are we talking about? Are we talking about just a burial or something, a Bronze Age equivalent of a church service, or are we talking something a little bit more dark and sinister? You see, this is sometimes called the Druid Circle, and who knows what kind of dark magic was performed here 4,000 years ago. Makes you think, doesn't it, really? And then I think I'll probably get out of the middle of it, actually. Right, I've had to decamp back to the car. The car is only 100 yards or so from the stone circle, so not very far, but as you can see from the window here, it really has come on quite heavy, the rain, which is a shame because that spoiled the end of the day. I hope you've enjoyed that little trip over Birkrigg Common. little view of the things to see there, as well as some of the views that you get from the top. To be fair, the views today weren't brilliant. This weather hasn't turned out as it was forecast. There's nothing unusual in that, of course. It often happens, but there we go. Don't forget, if you enjoyed that and you want to see some more, I'm going to be making more. I know I don't make a huge amount every year. I'm not making 30 or 40 or one a week or whatever, but I like to get out and still make them. So by all means, get subscribing and push that button for the bell, so that when I do put a new video out, which as I say isn't every week, you will at least get notified of it, so you'll be able to sit and watch it and enjoy it. And then, but for now, for the time being, I'm very sad that this rained. Actually, I was going to spend, after filming, I was going to spend another hour just on the fell, just enjoying the views before it got dark. Not able to do that, so finish my coffee and head off home, I think. Thank you very much.